Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Straight Out BPS podcast with Rudy and Jamari. I am Rudy.
Jamari Jones.
How you doing, bro? How you doing?
I am doing good. That's a loaded question, man.
So
Loaded.
unloaded however you see fit.
Man, I had COVID. I got the vid.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was I was diagnosed Saturday, and I went through. It wasn't as bad as when you got it.
Yeah.
That first wave was crazy.
Yeah.
So this is my first time getting it. I had headache, chills.
You vaccinated, so it's
Yeah,
made it easier, but you still went through your test.
yeah. And so I bounced back after had vitamins, meds, all that. But the weirdest thing was like I couldn't hear out of my right ear.
Wow.
So it felt like I was underwater all the time. So it still feels like that a little bit, but it's getting better. I think it's just like mucus backup and
yeah.
So other than that, I bounced back, went back to work on Thursday. So I had to quarantine for 5, test negative, and then go back.
Yeah.
So that was, a doozy. Definitely pushed my work schedule back. Had to catch up on a lot of things. But overall, we good, we straight. I'm feeling so much better. March was a tough month for us.
I don't know what's going on with March, but for some reason,
yeah,
I would say, would you agree with me? Is like, if it's not top 2 or top 3, it's in the top 3 month of the school year. March.
Yeah, because it's like in the becoming spring and like good weather.
Like if you look at like the top three, like in terms of like schedule length and like being stressful, a lot to do, overwhelmed, all the things, March is there.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Every time we talk to educators, or like teachers or something like that, they're like, March, I hate March because there's no break. Yeah, there's no break. It's like you want to be outside.
But some people would say you just came from February break and then April break is around the corner. Is that the stretch from, because once you go from February, then you're like, oh, you're looking ahead at April break, like you can't, with the anticipation to go to April, is just like, damn, can we get there already?
I feel like at least in 1 month, there's like one day you have off, like at least one. March, there ain't.
Well, you know what could be? I just thought of that. I think it might be because if we're looking at February break to April break, that's 2 months. So you combine the half of February and then half of April, like a week in February, and then half of April into March, and it makes it such a huge month. But but definitely let us know what are the top 3 toughest months for you in our school calendar.
Yeah, definitely. How you doing, brother? Let me know.
So you give me back the loaded question. I am present. I am gonna say that I am present because it's a lot of things. This is like personally. I am trying to make sure I am present to be able to get all the things I need to get done. Like I said, March was like very stressful. This is the time of the year where like we in April, at the end of the month, student will make their decision. So it goes into that. You're just like, how do you make sure they have all the information necessary to make a financially fit decision. So it kind of puts a lot of work, a lot of like one-on-one meeting, especially if we this is a decision that affected us for like till today for the rest of our life. This is like a turning point, and then to put like at such a young age you have to make that decision. But you spend most of your life dreaming about getting away. Like, I want to go, what the question that comes is like what is the true college experience? Because I think it's some of the stuff that we dream we want to do, when we realize we get we don't have the access to do that, then it just like yeah, it kind of put a different feeling into the process. But besides trying to make sure my students have all the information, I just focused on putting an energy back. I'm put like being present, put energy on me so I can be present in my work, so I can like have the what do you call that, endurance I need to do those things. So it's like a lot of self-care, just making sure, hey, I'm sleeping good, I'm eating good, I'm being active, so I can have the brain power,
Mhm.
I can be present for myself first and for my students. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's real, man.
Yeah.
That is real.
Yeah.
I think everybody definitely goes through that too. I definitely feel similarly to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this year I feel like it's like taking care of yourself
It
and
is.
trying to maintain the energy that you have, and
Yeah.
things that you love to do, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Because it's also we not just educate, like, well, we are educators, but I believe in modeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if our students see us like being able to do that, but we talk about how we taking care of ourselves, it's a practice. So they are watching, they are learning. So when they get to the thing, they're like, yo, like I'm working, but I also need to take care of myself, which just got me. Whew, I think that's a huge topic we need to focus on, because like because I think that's a huge topic that we will focus on, because it just got me thinking about the value of time in contrast to money,
Mhm.
because of where we are in uh, uh, financial ladder. We give up time for a little money, when we should try to get time is more valuable than money. You
Yep.
can get money back, but you never get time back. I
Mm.
feel like, and like I was like one of my student, right? Let me give you an example. One of my student, he's in college, and he's working with he's looking for an internship, and I'm like, okay, let's find you an internship. But all of his friends got like 2 to 3 jobs, and then when people have 2 to 3 jobs, it's like, oh, money, 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 I'm making bank.
Yeah.
But you don't have no time to rest. There's no breakdown. You always like overwhelmed, like stress and
Mm-hmm.
everything. When we got him an internship, I'm like, yo, go to the internship. Like, yeah, but the hours won't work. I'm like, you don't need in other hours. That internship could have helped him. They would have paid him as equal as having 3 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So he wouldn't need three jobs. So they were gonna pay him in. There would have been an opportunity for him to have a job after college.
Wow.
My dude turned down that internship for 3 jobs.
Nah, it's not worth it, man.
And I tried, but he was like, I'm good. At the end of the day, it's their decision.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to make sure they understand everything is on the table. Hey, this is your option. This is your option. Um, and sometimes I mean, like but at the end of the day, even if it pains me, like I've worked with students who took on so much loan to go to school, and like even they could have go to school for cheaper. Like it's their decision. This is part of the experience. So yeah, so we need to teach our kids the importance of time, like over money, because right now, like I understand money runs the world. Like that's when you at the where we from in the financial ladder. It's yeah.
Yeah.
But let's it's in the whole topic, but I just wanted to kind of
Yeah. I think also with that, man, it's kind of similar to what we go through as counselors too. Like we're trying to connect the dots for the students as far as like, you know, these short-term things that you have now may be satisfying now, but I think a lot of the kids that we deal with are still in the developmental stage where like they need assistance connecting dots to their future.
yeah.
But also, we talk about, sometimes students need to do what they got to do to like provide for the needs in their family and all that other stuff. But when you have an opportunity like that, I feel like that supersedes kind of some things because it could guarantee you a spot in your future,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But like my mom used to say, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink.
Yeah, make him drink.
Yeah, so that's definitely tough, but it's so cringing because like the right decision and you can't force them.
Yeah. That's yeah.
I feel you on that. Happens to me every day.
Part of the work, right?
Yeah, yeah. So so before we get into like our topics and all that other stuff, just want to say thank you for joining us. Um for real, and please share the podcast. We are on all social media
Oh.
platforms. So if you haven't shared it with someone, your mama, your baby mama, your kids,
Your
or
wife.
your wife, you know what I mean, your husband, your hubby,
Your
so
partners.
your partners, everything, man.
Partner. Yeah.
Partner.
Yeah.
Let me please share it. Like us on Facebook. We're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff.
Hey, can I say something? Like, at the end of the year, like, you know, we better be in your top five.
Top 5, baby.
You have a
Yeah,
whole year with us. Yeah.
yeah, that most definitely.
Yeah.
And should we make the announcement about um the other young man that's joining us?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's happening. We can say
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, Rudy made a connection with his old employer. We are definitely excited for this opportunity to have a young person join our team for a little bit. We will
Yeah.
have a intern, an
Yeah.
intern from BPS.
Yeah. From
From
BPS.
BPS. Yeah. So
Yeah, this is exciting. So if you guys are familiar from of Boston Green Academy, so they do this internship season where the seniors go out, they reach out to different organization and trying to connect student with the internship and the field they're interested in. And I used to work for Green Academy, so I still have my contact and connection there, like and then it's this is something that Jamari and I we spoke and then of doing in the future, and then we got a call. We were like, yeah, let's try it out. So we're excited. We met with the young man. We're excited to have him on. So for the month of May, during the 2 podcasts that we have in May, he will be on with us. He will be part of the planning, the meeting. We hoping for him to bring to have a segment with the on those 2 episodes with the student perspective or point of view of different topics. So it should be interesting. We are excited. We are learning, so we gonna be learning from him. So this internship, this is a 2-way. We're learning from him too. So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm definitely excited. We are just on the we're trying to do some big things, man.
Yeah.
And give back to BPS in positive ways. So
Yeah.
All right.
You are listening to the Straight Outta BPS podcast with Rudy and Jamari.
Let's get into the views on our latest news. And there has been so much going on in BPS and in the community. We spoke about this, I think, last episode about I attended, a couple of the superintendent meetings that was offered to the community. And I thought it was very, very dope to just hear a lot of the voices and different people stepping up in the chat and speaking out loud. So I saw a news article and it was talking about the characteristics that Boston families want in the next superintendent. And so I thought it was just interesting to see what the people want versus, what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
And hopefully the voices of the people are heard. So I'm gonna read off a couple of them. The first one is parents and families want a Bostonian, which we spoke about. 2, Spanish speaking response to the needs of immigrant families.
Yeah.
Must be a characteristics. A person of color committed to equity and anti-racism. Someone who will prioritize and safety and security. A leader who will expand the field trips, arts, music, sports, and extracurricular offerings. Someone who will prioritize student mental health. Someone with special education expertise. A leader dedication to communication, honesty, and keeping promises. Operational superstar. Someone who will support student at risk of dropping out. And the last one, don't forget about the chocolate milk. You want me to read what that means?
You're in a radio, not radio. You're in a podcast, so you have to tell the people what it means.
So students called for a new chef to offer a taste of healthier lunch options, but also echoed one student plea for universal access to a cafeteria classic chocolate milk. So yeah. I don't know if you remember back in high school or elementary school or middle school, there was always a shortage of chocolate milk. Yeah, man.
Chocolate milk is the
the favorite.
Every now and then, I'm like, I need some chocolate,
and then you would have one special occasion where there was strawberry milk.
Yeah,
that was rare.
Chocolate ice cream, I ain't, but chocolate milk is it.
Is it? So I feel like that's a number one request.
I think it's important because if we talk about student development and because student development is just not it's not just mental, like, and talk about, like, you so if you have PE, you have sports, like, you're showing kids how to properly, like, take care of their mind, their body, and food belongs in this. So like it's abysmal that our school, like, I mean, I never had the school lunch, like, um,
Mhm.
I got away from it's hard for me to say it now, but there was a time Taco Bell was way better than the school, and it might still be, but I wouldn't go to Taco Bell right now. But like,
Right.
trying to sneak out the school to go to the Taco Bell that was nearby. I never got caught. I don't know how I made it. Never got caught. Like, and nobody ever snitch on me too.
Yeah.
Nobody ever snitch on me, but I've watched people get caught. Like I would time. I know around that time they'll go over there because that's where. So like, how school has multiple like exit
Lunches.
doors.
Yeah.
People try to go out the door the closest to where the Taco Bell was, and I would just go the opposite and just, you know go around the side
Brown.
street, like, never got caught. But yeah, yeah, like back to the thing. School lunch is important, and yeah,
Yeah.
so I like the list. So yeah, it's time because what is it, 8 or 9 superintendent we got,
Yeah.
and like I do agree with having a Bostonian, somebody who understand, like, who's from here, like, who practice, like, anti-racist, like, culture, like all that, like it's needed, like, I
Mhm.
think I
I
don't
feel like
I don't
all
think it's
this,
outrageous to have those demands.
yeah. I think like all the people are asking for is someone that could relate to the
Yeah.
community, and, like, knows the problems of BPS, or like knows what's going on in BPS, and not just some random person that has political connections. So I think like it's not outrageous, like you said, that these demands are here, and I think it's all fair. But to go back to the point of like, is is BPS, is the school committee going to make a political decision to, or a political favorite, or are they going to listen to the people and find someone that's a Bostonian or from the community to kind of bring Boston back, and to lead and to lead BPS.
I think where we at right now, especially with the receivership
Yeah.
also on the table,
Yeah.
I think it may impact, and I hope it's like we just voted to a new system of elected school committee, right? And I don't think you'll be like, some may say yes. And my thing with the receivership is the focus on the testing. That's
Hmm.
how they evaluate,
We're
and
gonna get into that too. Hmm.
it's just like I I think with the new system and having our own people there, creating a culture, like a BPS culture that we can all be proud of. Like, yes, I'm from BPS, and like, and I I think we need to give in that shot to make it work. Like, because it's one thing is to be like, yo, you're doing the same thing over and over, so let me take over. But we
Hmm.
just voted to, like, we finally, things are changing. So
Right.
I don't know. We need to look into it. Like, I'm not for, as of right now, I am not for the receivership as of right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I agree with you 100%. I'm just looking forward to seeing how this the search goes and to see what we get.
Yeah.
Like who's applying and what candidates we get and
Well,
where.
one thing is not being talked about with so many turnaround in that position, it may keep the right person from applying. Like, like how they gonna make it appealing that, like we gonna, like, like, so there needs to have a conversation, there needs to be a conversation about the longevity of like the next person, like, making sure the next person who comes in is,
You can't just clip her
yeah.
contract or his contract.
I wouldn't say that, because it's not that, like, if something is not working, yeah, but also you like, if there's so many turnaround of position, the right person might be skeptic in doing it, like, because it could be like they're not being supported in their view of leadership. I don't know, but I think, like, first you need the right person. Two, you need to revamp what does the, I don't know if the change, how's that gonna impact how the superintendent do stuff in terms of like the Boston's committee and being part of the mayor's cabinet, or like, because yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, would you go for a job that has,
Nope.
like, I'm making
Like it takes a particular person to do that, and I think what would deter me from applying for a superintendent of like BPS is that we need a radical change. And like I think like if someone was to, that's a good fit that might make those changes, they might get clipped. Like just like
that's what I'm saying. We can get somebody that fulfill all those leads that you like, all check mark all this thing, but you say that person get clipped like after a year or two.
Yeah.
Like,
so and I think things have to, once we get a new person, I think change doesn't happen overnight, right? Like sometimes things got to get a little bit worse to get a little bit better, because you got to filter out people, schools, and all that other stuff. But eventually it will go back up. It's like the housing market, or like, what I mean? It sucks to say that, but it's kind of like that.
but also I like the fact that you said change doesn't happen overnight, but I can push it further to like, we need to support whoever the next person is.
Yeah.
Like, we have to do the work. Like, it's like politics. You don't elect politicians that wait for them to do the work. No.
Yeah.
Like, the work begins after the person won the election or the thing begins appointed, which means you don't just watch and like, like that. If we really do a due diligence and we put the next person and we build it to our core, this is the best fit. We need to support that person, because their success will be our success. And if we don't, the receivership is gonna take over. If we like one more and it's
Yeah.
I think this is a huge opportunity for us to show, like, Boston is in a good trajectory. It's like what happened when our people are in those at this table, like, creating policy and law that benefit us. And we need to carry that momentum in BPS and get BPS to the best it can be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So the next, you kind of touched upon this as well. It is so. Hold on 1 second. Let me bring it up. So Mayor Wu urges state education board against Boston Public Schools takeover.
No,
So
not yet. Too soon.
too soon. And so that's what everyone is saying. I think what's happening right now is like it's kind of like superintendent is leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no one in leadership. And so the state, I feel like the state is like, oh, we about to come in and help out. But so one in the article it says Boston is in the bottom 10% of school districts statewide according to state accountability system, with 1/3 of the students attending the schools that are ranked in the bottom 10% in Massachusetts. It has also been plagued by shortcomings in the services for students with disabilities and English language learners. State education leaders said Tuesday that the reviews is aimed at assessing Boston Schools' current operation 2 years after an initial audit found widespread problems and could result in a responsive that range from increased state assistance or a temporary takeover. And so with that, of course, Mayor Wu is saying like this is too soon. Like, give us a chance to fix this. We're on the search for a new superintendent. I also in the article it talked about when states do take over, it's full of pressure for students. I mean, for teachers to focus on testing scores, but not necessarily talking or gearing towards the student holistically. And so that's where, I don't think the takeover would, do more. I mean, would make the school system better. It just turns it into a machine, and not necessarily, working in the student's benefit. Some people in the article called it the takeover, and I'm racist, because it's working from a model that is like looking through one lens and not necessarily at the student lens, or family lens, which I agree with. So I think that if there was to be a takeover, right? I think that I don't know if it's gonna do us any good. It may even push us further back, maybe. I'm just not sure. I'm like, give us a chance to fix this. Let us hire another superintendent. And we just elected a new school committee. So let's go that way. At least for a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, has BPS been in a receivership before? No.
I don't think so. I haven't. I don't think so.
Yeah. I think some people might push back. It's like, are we just caring about the idea of the state takeover? But for me, it's not. Yes, I would be scared of the states over, and the reason why, and being scared is validated in the sense that you're judging me based on data, like you don't know me, like like what our teachers or like student are going through. So you come in like because the statistics are not happening. You're not looking for the root of why they're not happening. Like BPS funding has been getting cut back over the years drastically. Then we still coming out of pandemic. right? So there's major factors. And then you could say that, oh, the other school in Massachusetts are doing well. Yeah, they're well resources. Like they have funding. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think we need to like make BPS better. We the people, no, need to make BPS better. It's on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they hold off on this, but it's a real possibility, for sure. But yeah, I'm hoping that they hold off and wanted to make
You know what? I would love to hear if somebody is for the receivership, reach out to us. We want to talk about this more.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Would love to hear other views as
Yeah.
well.
You are listening to the Straight Outta BPS podcast with Rudy and Jamari.
This the other topic that I found was kind of sad. And it's basically, the title of the article is, when it comes to making facility decisions, Boston keeps student families and staff in limbo. So we know that there are a few elementary schools and middle schools that are being shut down.
Yeah.
Because they're turning into, I think of, what is it? Like, instead of having 6 through 12, they're gonna have
like middle, they're gonna combine that with the high school.
yeah.
Yeah.
So so a lot of other schools are being shut down, and then they're gonna combine different schools and all that other stuff. So the article was talking about how at the Shaw, and that's a elementary school in Dorchester, they read this book or this poem called The Cedar Box. And in that book, it talked about, creating a type of like box out of recycled material or whatever. And like in the box, you put in like memories. And so at school, they had did this because they found out their school is not being extended. But however, the problem is that they were promised a third grade, I believe, or fourth grade, and that's not happening. And so I think the problem is that maybe BPS made these promises and they're not keeping it, and there's no communication, and the people are not being heard. So um so I was just thought that it was an important point to bring up, how how people should be included in these type of decisions, especially if you have like families and stuff should be included in decisions like this. And like
That's cool. So there was no communication with them about that.
so there was talk, but they were like guaranteed or I think BPS had said that there will be a third grade or something like that.
Can I say something?
Huh?
I think when when who is BPS? When who makes those decisions?
I think they have a department, or like something like that.
Yeah. I was hearing this, and then what comes to me, I think it's important for like when you talk about having student and parents involved, and then when I hear like BPS is like and that's why I think we need to put a name, like like I know like who from BPS, who like from the board, or like it is important that we put a name of like though, because it for me it's just when you're just looking at I don't know if I'm making when you're looking at like organization and how they work with client, like you need and if you're trying to create a better relationship, like you need names, like you need like hey, like like who do you I don't know, I just heard BPS promise them was like who made the promise? Like that's all I want to know. Like, who do we
So,
talk to?
so they said despite the goal, BPS decided in 2018 to freeze the Shaw expansion at grade 3, even though the school department website continues to say school will expand.
So if the superintendent is in charge of BPS, so when they say the BPS, so they're talking about the superintendent. Is that
I
right?
mean, I'm assuming her I would lump it all together. Her cabinet,
Yeah.
like superintendent, everyone from the top down.
I
And
think.
so
Go ahead.
no, yeah. No, I was just saying, like, I feel like if the website is saying something, one thing, and then you're making people believe in another thing, so there's the conflict.
Yeah.
And EMK too. The article also mentioned that they're on Northeastern's property.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say BPS again allow their lease to run out. So they were like without a building. So and like Northeastern is expanding like crazy in Roxbury. So like they want their building back. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like where's the communication there? And what's happening with that? And I think that's what the article is trying to get at is like there's these gaps and communication lapses, and you have literal kids in the palm of your hands, their education and people's jobs, and that's I feel like that's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely need to do better about that for sure. But you're right. We need a name to go with the
because if a promise was made, like and then all those turnarounds, like that's what like is when I think for me, like I need to understand who from BPS, who when you said BPS said, like who made the promise,
yeah.
I mean that's unfortunate, because, but I remember, I like change is difficult, and change is necessary, but I think through communication and understanding, you can make it less difficult. Like, and I think that's what they were not giving, or like, a proper time, a proper a procedure in terms of like transition. But I think what this bring back for me is when school were closing, and they turned school like High Park High closed, and they put 3 school in High Park High. Right. So they try that model, it fell, boom, let's go. Like that middle school to high school has worked. Like, for example, we talk about Boston Green Academy. Boston Green fully has a middle school. So it looks like it's working. My thing is like just like change is sometimes necessary, or like we need to adjust to make sure what we're doing is working. I'm also like, are we giving it like receivership? How are we giving it like proper enough time to see it works?
Yeah.
Like like make it doing putting all the resources necessary to make it work. Because all those shifts are impacting our families. like, you know.
Yeah.
So now they, like, you know, some family were bought into like some school, and now they have to see, like, you know, if the new school they're gonna partner with, they can be comfortable with that, you know. It's a lot of shift. um yeah.
Yeah. And I think you have a point when you say like there's certain like in the article it also talked about like, you know, one parent didn't like the schools that were available, and that's why she chose the Shaw. And now the Shaw is getting taken away, and it's kind of like, okay, where does my child go now?
What's gonna happen to those buildings when they, like, what's happening?
I have no idea.
And where do we stand on like future building infrastructure for BPS if we merge in schools left and
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
And do we have enough space for that?
yeah. Well, we
You
better
know?
create the space.
Yeah. So barely have space now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all good, all questions that need answers. So so last topic, it's a hot button issue for me. So Biden, my boy,
talk to him directly, just in case he's watching this.
President Biden, my guy.
Not your guy. Yeah, your guy.
All right, my bad. Our guy.
Not our guy. No. He ain't doing. No, talk to him. Tell him what's up.
President Biden, bro. Just cancel these loans, bro. Just cancel these loans, bro. Because my man keeps pushing them back. Yo, I'm on like
he got that thing on snooze, like
right. Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yo.
So he pushed it back to the start, I believe September 1st. And to be honest, I'm just like, at this point, brother, just cancel, if not cancel all of it, cancel some of it at this point. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. He ran on a platform that he was gonna cancel.
Thank you.
Like, there was a $10,000, there was a $50,000. I don't care. Something must be done. He graduated, like, you know, because life happens, things don't do, and they still have a major loan without a degree that's holding them back. Literally holding them back. No degree. Like, you know? And it's cancel them then, Biden.
Thank you.
Cancel them.
Yeah. And then another thing, and another one. I would say the postponing these student loans, right, has positively, I feel, has positively affected the economy. People are using the money that they are saving, I mean, that they were using to pay off loans, to spend back into the economy, to live, to keep it running. Yeah. So I think even if you canceled it, right, people are saying you're gonna lose the money, and you know, the people that bought student loans and all this other stuff, like the money's gonna go right back into the economy and keep it fueling. Like the payments, I'm gonna just keep it 100. The payments that I was supposed to be making on my loans, like last year or the year before, I actually saved to buy a house. There you go. Like, you know what I mean?
You paid off your car?
I paid off my car, like, you know, so like it's going back into it. I mean, worst comes to worst, I'm gonna start paying them. But right now, I'm just like, you know, I'm trying to invest in myself, you know?
And investing in yourself is investing in the country.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So take that, Biden. Nah, but in all seriousness, man, like we hope that this gets canceled. And not just for our own selves, but just for like people really struggling to keep up with payments.
You know what? If you're not for loan canceling and you're listening to this, message us.
Yeah.
Let's
DM us.
DM us. We'll talk. Let's, maybe you want. Like, I would love to hear. We would love to hear your position,
Right. So
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's all we got for today, man. Please make sure that you again share the podcast, comment down below.
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts, share. We appreciate you guys listening and rocking out with us. I know we've been on the move and doing some great things. So we appreciate all you guys
coming. So
yes, sir. This is Straight Outta BPS
podcast. Next time.